The most common mistakes we see, unnecessary words. I'm Karen Beery with Right Now Editing, where we turn good manuscripts into great books.
And I'm Pegg Thomas, multi award winning author and editor, and we are two editors for 5 minutes.
And thank you for bearing with us. We needed to take a little break over the winter. We all have seasons, and that was a season when Peg and I, we both had to focus on some things. But now we're back, appropriately enough, it's finally spring here. So I'm going to get the timer started as we start talking about Peg's five most common things that she's seeing. Before the break, we talked about the five most common mistakes I've been seeing in manuscripts. Peg, we're going to start with you and unnecessary words. What do you mean?
Oh, I've been seeing so many of these lately, and not just in self published books, I'm seeing them in traditionally published books. And that is when the author is just using words they don't need. When they say things like, he stood to his feet. Well, honestly, where else is he going to stand to? So that's an unnecessary phrase. You can just say he stood, he rose, he got up, whatever. You don't need to say to his feet. Another one I've seen more than once lately is she nodded her head. Well, what else is she going to nod? So if it's blatantly obvious, then you don't need the whole phrase. You just need she nodded. But please use nodded judiciously only when you really need it because you can get bobbleheads in a hurry if you overuse that one. Another one is the scent rose to his nose. Okay, it's a scent. We know what detects scent. So we don't have to tell the reader that it was his nose that detected the scent. It might seem
So,
like a small thing, but as you're reading through it in a way, you're almost kind of insulting the reader as if they might think, oh, well, maybe he smelled it with his ears today. No, when it's obvious, you don't need to put it in there. Another one I have seen a lot, on her face. Well, where else is an expression going to be? It's going to be on your face. So again, we just need to be careful that we don't use words that are insulting to the reader, that are kind of like spoon feeding everything into the reader's mind. Trust your reader to know that a scent is going to involve a nose, standing is going to involve your feet, an expression is going to involve your face, and that you nod your head. And there's lots of other examples, but as you go through there, just realize that a story is going to be smoother and more engaging if you don't clutter it up with a lot of words that you just don't need.
and the big thing
Got
too, I,
anything to
I
add
think
to
that,
that one, Karen?
yeah, I think what a lot of writers don't realize is, like you mentioned, it seems like a little thing, but when you look at word count and you look at how a publisher looks at word count, or even your readers are expecting 80,000 words. And oh no, your book is 90,000. Well, one page is about 250 words. So if you figure that on every page of your book, you have four instances of that, you're looking at 2 to 4 words per instance. So up to 16 words per page that could be cut. At the end of 300 pages, you are literally looking at pages that you can cut from your manuscript of words that you don't need. And
Exactly.
really similar to that, um, I see this all the time. I see this in published works, and I think a lot of people don't realize it unless you've got that editor vision. You're not going to see it. Where someone walks in the door and they take off their shoes and they plop down on the couch and they think, "Wow, after walking in the door and taking off my shoes and plopping on the couch, I really could use a drink." Well, you don't explain. You literally just wrote it. That's an unnecessary description. And it's really similar to what you're saying, which you
It's
think you're being
unnecessary words.
right. And you think you're helping
Yeah.
your reader because, oh, well, I want to make sure you understand this, but your reader is much smarter than you give them credit for.
Yes.
Now, there is one time when, as an editor, I would encourage authors to make an exception. Well, two times. One is in dialogue. If you have a character that is wordy and use it, yes, because you want your dialogue to sound realistic. The other is if you've got a flow, if you've got a rhythm going in a paragraph, and maybe you've got 3 sentences in a row and they all have the same cadence, and you want that 3rd sentence to have that cadence, and you have to put to their, rows to their feet. Sometimes you can get away with it, but those are going to be exceptions. It's not going to be every description that you write.
Exactly. And your readers will thank you. Also, never fall to the temptation of, I don't have too many words, I don't have enough words. So you go throw all these phrases in. Much better to add another scene than to just clutter up your manuscript with unnecessary words.
And believe it or not, after this huge hiatus, we have just hit 5 minutes perfectly. Who would
First
have
time in
thought?
forever.
Oh my gosh. All right, we'll come back next week. We're going to talk about some more of those common mistakes Peg sees. Until then, I am Karin Beery.
And I'm Peg Thomas, and we'll see you next time.